All right, here we are coming on. It is time. It is time for day 11. Day 11 of swimforrecovery.com. I don't put the domain name in the actual post because then not as many people actually can see, pay attention to, or be aware of there's something being going on just due to, logistics and things like that. So anyway, here's the main domain name, swimforrecovery.com. Please post it, share this, post all over social media. It would be amazing. And I just always do this just to make sure. I always do a sound check just because, I kind of do this stuff on my own here, and eventually we'll have a nice little team behind us. So there we go. All right, cool. Looks like we're good to go. So here we are, day 11, swim for recovery. So far, been able to swim 11 miles. That's 1 mile a day, 726 laps, which equals 193.6 football fields, the lengths of football fields. So there's your visual for kind of how far we've been going. And I think about this, I'm like, what would it be like to swim 11 miles in one day? I'm never going to know that answer. So, but here we are, just really trying to encourage people about recovery and how do we move from addiction to recovery. So, if you're watching live or on the replay, again, I encourage you, please share this post on your social media pages. But depending on, actually, I'm gonna tag Jerome in here because we're going to be doing Jerome's story here in just a second. So let's get him tagged. There we go, Jerome. We'll tag him there. Boom. All right, cool. Done. So inside of that is we're sharing these stories. I'm asking you, the viewers, is what do you do for fun and recovery? Like, what's something that you do that you would want to share with people that you do for fun and recovery? So go ahead and type it in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever that is. And I'm going to clear this out here. Trying to get rid of some things so this would actually go a little faster here. Take it less bandwidth. So we're day 11, and a friend of mine, Jerome, he asked to share his story specifically on this day because obviously this is a big day for our nation. So I want to acknowledge 9/11 today and acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of pain behind today. And there's a lot of pain behind addiction, and there's a lot of pain in recovery. And we want to be able to move forward in recovery from addiction. And so Jerome's coming on. He calls himself a veteran treatment advocate, and just a great guy. He has a great story, and I know you'll be encouraged. But I want to encourage y'all also, while you're on this, is let us know where you're tapping in from. Say, hey, I'm in Denver, Colorado, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Sacramento, California. Just random names popping into my head. And post comments. Tell Jerome thank you for his story. Anything you appreciate about the Swim for Recovery campaign. But again, please go to swimforrecovery.com and check it out. Would love your support there. All the recovery stories are going to be posted on there because not everybody's on social media. So if you send out the domain name above my head, then you can text it out to friends. Say, hey, go check this thing out and support the cause. And we have a big thing coming up at the end of the month, September 29th. So if you're not getting emails from me or anything, go look at the rest of my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and Lifted from the Rut, because I posted on there a flyer for September 29th. We're doing a huge party here in Denver. It's actually going to be the end of swimforrecovery.com, the end of recovery month, and also to celebrate my best-selling book, the Addiction Intervention book. Which I was actually here's what it looks like. So the Addiction Intervention book, you can grab a copy on Amazon if you want. And we're just going to celebrate this month. Celebrates a lot of things I've been doing and a lot of things on how that's helping so many other people. So let's get into Jerome's story and just sit back and enjoy it. It's about 11 minutes long. So grab yourself a coffee or something like that and just enjoy Jerome's delivery of his story. So here we go. Jerome, let's do it. Let's get this here. Add to stream. I'm going to take me off of the stream. Say goodbye to me and bring on Jerome. Let's do it, Jerome. All right, we are rolling cameras for another recovery story on swimforrecovery.com. My buddy Jerome is here with us, and really excited to hear what you're doing and just kind of your own recovery story in your own life and what that looks like. Everyone has a different journey, right? So, hey, Jerome, welcome to the series.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, you got it. So what city and state are you sitting in right now?
I am in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
All right. Calo. So good stuff there. And then what do you kind of consider your what is your recovery story and what would you say you're recovering from?
Um, I am a combat veteran in long-term recovery for alcoholism.
Okay.
I explored a few different drugs, a way to self-medicate, numb myself, but alcohol is definitely the one that got me.
Alcohol stuck around. And so what do you consider your sobriety date?
My sobriety date's November 4th, 2015.
All right. Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you in the recovery community, man, because I know you're doing a lot of cool work out there. And along your own journey, something happened that started with your need for some alcohol in your life. So what kind of led up to that?
So, again, this is a hindsight analysis, but after when I was actively involved in my addiction, I didn't know what I was struggling with. And the really big ones were my fear of being an emotional man. I that was stigmatized, heavily stigmatized in my upbringing. Like it was weak to show emotions, to be sensitive to things, to sensitive to subjects that were important or really big. And one of those is grief and loss. I didn't know how to manage grief and loss. I didn't understand it as a natural progression of life, and ultimately the ultimate progression of life, I suppose. That was a really big one for me. Fear of abandonment played a really big part in that too. I had, my parents divorced at a young age. I did not have a healthy relationship with my father, and that led to self-medication. I was exposed to a substance, being alcohol, at a young age as a coping skill. Therefore, it did not allow me to even consider exploring doing some other coping modalities, or nonetheless talking about it. I just needed to numb those emotions because it was weak. So that's in a nutshell, that was my struggle.
Yeah. Would you say you're tapped into your emotions now in this world of your recovery?
Not just tapped into my emotions. I embrace my emotions.
Mm.
I welcome emotional dysregulation now, as it's an indicator that something needs to be worked on or dealt with, or it requires my attention.
Mm.
Now I'm interested in those moments because I show up better every day, knowing that I may have to struggle for a day or two, but it doesn't often last longer than that. So there's no more. I have effectively reduced the intensity and frequency at which my emotions get the best of me. So I feel comfortable and confident in that way. So, and it allows me to be who I want to be.
Man, I feel like that should have been at the end of the interview. That was amazing how you just presented that. That was incredible, and I'm so proud of you, Jerome, for stepping into that and just saying, "Hey, this is so important." And that when we're off, it is an indicator. But when we're drowned in substances and alcohol, we don't get a chance to tap into that. So what was it like, kind of towards the end of your drinking career, as you were, kind of suppressing your emotions with alcohol and not dealing with life?
I think for so long I was focused on the addiction aspect of it and not so much the identity crisis. I did not know who I was. I I couldn't look beyond a day, or in some cases I would get as far out as a week. Anything beyond that was just, it was foggy, because this imaginary best friend of mine, alcohol, was knocking at the door asking me, what was going on, and I can help with that. I can help with that. And I gave in. I succumbed to the temptation too often, and I lived in that fog, just day by day, minute by minute. Finally, towards the end, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if to be quite frank about it, I got really tired of people dying. I lost my father to alcoholism, and hearing my sister ask me how to tell my nephew where grandpa is and why he's not here anymore, as I'm actively drinking and drunk while she's trying to have an intimate conversation with me, I broke down and said, it's time. Like, I don't need her to explain to her kids why I'm not here anymore, because that's the path I was headed on. So I faced my fear, I got courageous, and I walked forward and asked for help.
Holding back some emotions there for you. And for me, I mean, that was powerful. Just the climactic moment. And so, how did you enter into a world of recovery without substances, without alcohol?
Uh, I was super super scared. I I did not know life was worth living without altering my mind, because those brief times in my life as an adult. So the only time I spent any time longer than 1 week sober as an adult was while I was in a combat zone. I did not know adult life outside of crisis situations. And most of them I was creating and inflicting on myself with my substance abuse. So it was like controlled chaos. I had enough structure in my life to function, but I certainly was not living. It was a struggle for just too long.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was that moment like on that day when you surrendered to, to alcohol and let it go?
I want to tell you it was glorious, but it wasn't. It was fearful. The first week was like physical withdrawals. That was a tough one. Um, I was not very forthcoming with my recovery when I first started, as far as my symptoms. I tried to go cold turkey off of alcohol, which, as I know now, as a professional in this industry, it's very dangerous. It's not recommended. I wish I would have sought a higher level of help, medical help, but I struggled through the physical symptoms. Week 2 got a little bit clearer. After the 30-day mark, I built some confidence because my cognitive functions were finally starting to restore enough that I could hear what was happening around me.
Mm.
I'm grateful and thankful for those that supported me. My recovery journey went through the VA, so I was one of the fortunate people that had the courage to come forward and interact with that giant system, and it did take care of me in the big picture. But um, I would say my recovery really unlocked for me at the 6 month mark. That's when I was able to choose some activities that I did not know I could participate and have fun sober, like golf. I like to play pool or billiards. That's another fun experience that took a little bit of time for me to edge myself back into, because it's heavily consumed by alcohol consumption and drug consumption just to participate. So I learned to have fun again sober. That's when it really got fun for me. And now, almost 7 years in, I'm I'm thoroughly enjoying those activities again, trying to play golf and pool at a high level, and again, focusing on those the community aspect and social structures and friends, family,
Mm.
if you will. That's been the biggest benefit in my life.
And that's powerful. Golf is a great analogy for life and recovery. And I mean, I just see it. I just interviewed a guy that wrote, was a filmmaker and producer for this movie called The Mulligan. Awesome movie, just came out. Go check it out on Amazon Prime, all over the place. But it was all about like the mulligan in life. And here you are stepping into things that you were drunk for all the time, enjoying sober. And so I'm gonna stay away from you in a pool, but maybe we can play cornhole or darts sometime. Maybe I have a chance in that. I don't know. They kind of go, darts and pool kind of go hand in hand. So, what are some other things you do for fun in recovery now? I know you play golf and still enjoy that too, but just what are some cool activities you're doing to maintain your sobriety 7 years later?
Well, I guess one of my focuses in life right now is creating healthy relationships, friends and family. Like that's utmost interest to me. I really like to travel. Sobriety, unlocked an opportunity for me. Some major changes were happening in my life, in my inner circle, how that was changing, and I broke down and bought a travel van this year. So I love to get in my van, um, be at the end of the day. I really look forward to weekends, and destination unknown. I kind of pick a direction, and I decide how long I'm going to drive, and I go there. I don't plan. I just commit to it and I go. I'm like, all right, I've got 3 days. I need to be back. I'm gonna go. And that's really it's been liberating. It's been very adventurous and freeing, because I don't really have geographic barriers or constraints anymore. I just go enjoy the beautiful state of Colorado and Utah, Wyoming. Those are my favorites for now. And I'm looking forward to this year's ski season, which will be another new activity sober.
Mm, powerful, powerful stuff right there. Well, after I get done with the swim for recovery campaign, because I can't swim on the road, but Pack me in your van one day, and I'll just tell my wife, hey, I'm taking off for a couple mental health days with Jerome. It'll be
You
good
got
stuff
it.
too. So, hey, keep up the great work. Thanks for sharing your story on swimforrecovery.com, man. And God bless you on the journey that you're on.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate you.
You got it. All right, Jerome. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for sharing your story. And I'm really glad that we were able to do this on September 11th. I know that was important to you. So thank you for your service and all that you do to help veterans break free from the cycles of addiction as well in your profession. And just really appreciate you for that. So again, please make sure you all go back and post this story with other people. And here's something I wanted to show you. I wanted to say thank you so much for all the people that have donated funds to tax deductible donations to swimforrecovery.com, because I actually have the most recent mailing we're getting ready to do, sending out 5 mailings, and that's for people that have donated over $198, which is 10 cents a lap for what I'm swimming total. So currently been at 11 miles, 726 laps, the length of 193.6 football fields. Now there was something else I wanted to pull up today, so I'm gonna pull this up real quick because it was interesting email I got today. I was going to share some of these statistics if I can find it real quick. So hold on just a second. I don't know where it went. Hold on. Let me see if it was over here. But it was all about I know what I emailed it to myself. So hold on. It was a post on Facebook I was reading, and I thought it was worth pulling up here. So give me just a second. We'll see what's going on with this. So it's called keepthepartysafe.com. Now this was interesting. So I'm actually going to pull this up because I want to share this. We hear a lot about fentanyl, right? And let's see all that, what's going on with fentanyl and all the other things. So I'm going to share my screen here and let's pull this up. This was I was reading it. I was like, man, that's something I got to share today. So, because we talked about sharing some statistics and recovery stories and all those things. So when you look at this is called, let's see, it says, if this is an emergency, obviously call 911. I'm going to pull this off here. So this was a Facebook post, and I totally forgot where I grabbed it from, but it talks about, like, right here. It said, I'm going to make this a little smaller too. Here we go. Make it a little bigger for you. Okay. So right above my head, it talks about that fentanyl is contaminating all types of recreational drugs across Colorado. It is 50 times stronger than heroin, which means overdoses happen faster and are more likely to be deadly. Okay. So the crazy thing is, like, you can die from a very, 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 very small dose of fentanyl, and you don't know what it's in. I mean, it's lacing all these different drugs. People are putting in all sorts of stuff. So this is just a website called keepthepartysafe.org, which I found, and it has a lot of great tools. Let's unpack your checklist if you're going out to a party. Just a lot of interesting things on it. But I found it interesting. Talks about test strips. What does an overdose look like? How to use naloxone, which is a way that can bring people back from an overdose. And it's just a lot of good content. So I just want to say that this could be something good for people that are out there on the scene. Please get off of the scene, but go to keepthepartysafe.com. And that was just something interesting I wanted to share. So that was kind of quick, down and dirty. But the reality of it is people are dying every day from this stuff. I remember last year when there was just a news story shown, and it was, I think, 5 or 6 people died in a apartment complex because they all were doing something, and it had fentanyl in it, and they all died like that. It's scary stuff. So why even risk it? Come in, enjoy the world of recovery, like Jerome was just talking about. I mean, I never thought I would enter a pool hall again because of my drinking and drugging and the stuff I did, but I'm able to now if I want to go. I'm not afraid of it because I've been freed from substances. And that is my journey and story. So Your recovery says I can go do anywhere and do anything as long as my spiritual conditioning is sound, right? And so just got to step into that. So enjoy. Thanks for tapping in today. We'll be here tomorrow. I don't have my list on whose story is going to be shown tomorrow, but still need some recovery stories. So if you have a story and you want to share it, let me know. I'll post something on Facebook and give people the ability to step into that. So that's all we have for now. Thanks again. Again, I look forward to all these individuals receiving their books in the mail. That's my addiction intervention book. As people that donate over $198, 10 cents a lap, get a free book sent to them on me just to say thank you. So thanks a bunch. Have a great day. God bless. And that's all for the broadcast we have for now. Bye.